Next up would be the election of a president. At this time, I would open the floor up for nominations for president.
I would like to nominate Mr. Wentz.
I'd like to nominate myself.
Okay, we have two nominations. We have myself and we have Mr. Christian. At this time, we will ask that treasurer please call roll call vote, and each person vote for the person that they would like to be president. Mr. Phillips?
Mr. Christian?
Taylor Christian.
Mrs. Lally?
Mr. Wentz.
Mrs. White?
Mr. Wentz.
Mr. Wentz?
Myself, Mr. Wentz. And at this time, I would declare that for the 2020 calendar year, I will be the president at this time. Next up would be the election of our vice president. I would open the floor up for nominations for vice president.
I would like to nominate Mrs. Terry Lally.
Okay, Mrs. Lally has been nominated. Are there any other nominations from the floor?
I'd like to nominate myself.
Okay, Taylor would like to nominate himself. At this time, I would ask that the treasurer please call the roll, and we will vote for one of the two people for vice president. Mr. Phillips?
Mr. Christian?
Mr. Christian.
Mrs. Lally?
Mrs. Lally.
Mr. White? Mrs. White, I'm sorry.
Mrs. Lally.
You can vote later, Rob. Mr. Wentz?
Mrs. Lally, please. And at this time, by a vote of 3-1, I would declare that Mrs. Terry Lally will be our vice president for this year. And at this time, I would ask Mr. Phillips to read the oaths of office for each person.
Is Chris here? I, Ralph Wentz,
I, Ralph Wentz,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge my duties
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge my duties
as President of the Board
as President of the Board
in and for the said South Range Local School District,
in and for the said South Range Local School District,
Mahoning County, Ohio,
Mahoning County, Ohio,
to the best of my ability
to the best of my
and
ability
in accordance with the laws now in effect
and in accordance with the laws now in effect
and hereafter to be enacted
and hereafter to be enacted
during my continuance in said office
during my continuance in said office
until my successor is chosen and qualified.
and until my successor is chosen and qualified.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I, Terry Lally,
I, Terry Lally,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge my duties
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge my duties
as Vice President of the Board
as Vice President of the Board
in and for the said South Range Local School District,
in and said for the South Range Local School District,
Mahoning County, Ohio,
Mahoning County, Ohio,
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
and in accordance with the laws now in effect
and in accordance with the laws now in effect,
and hereafter to be enacted
and hereafter to be enacted
during my continuance in said office
during my continuance in said office
and until my successor is chosen and qualified.
and until my successor is chosen and qualified.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Okay, we have a number of standing authorizations that we're gonna need to go through, so, I apologize, but this is something that, we have to do each year at the organizational meeting, and, at this time, I'll defer to Mr. Dunham to kind of go through those for us.
Good evening and welcome, everyone. Happy New Year. President Wentz, I have actually 9 resolutions, and then I'll come back with the standing authorizations, which actually means the standing authorizations are approval for Mr. Phillips and I on a daily basis to perform our duties at the school. I'd like to start with compensation for board members, and I'll read through all 9, and I'm assuming we'll come back and vote on those 9, and then I'll do the standing authorizations. Would that work?
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be.
First is compensation for board members. Move that the South Range Local Board of Education retain the practice of paying members $125 per board meeting for 12 meetings per year and for the annual meeting of the Mahoning County Educational Service Center during 2020. Service fund for board members. Move that the South Range Local Board of Education establish a service fund for board members of $5,000 per year. Membership in OSBA. Move that the South Range Local Board of Education renew its membership in the Ohio School Boards Association and its legal assistance fund. Liability, property, and fleet insurance. Move that the South Range Local Board of Education authorize the Treasurer CFO to purchase liability, property, and fleet insurance for the board, its employees, volunteers, and support organizations. Treasurer Pro Temp, move that in the event that the Treasurer CFO is absent from a meeting of the board will choose one of its members to be Treasurer Pro Temp. Regular meeting date, time, and place for 2020. Move that the South Range Local Board of Education hold its regular board meetings in 2020 on the 3rd Monday of each month at 7 p.m. The meeting shall be held at the South Range Local Schools K-12 complex. Administrative mileage. Move that the South Range Local Board of Education approve administrative mileage at the rate set by the IRS for travel for school district business conducted by school personnel and board members who use their own vehicles for such travel. Mileage reports must be approved by the superintendent. Compliance officer. Move that the South Range Local Board of Education appoint the superintendent as the compliance officer for Title IX. OSBA legislative liaison appointee and student achievement liaison appointee. Move that the South Range Local Board of Education appoint, and we'll need a member for that, as the Ohio School Boards Association legislative liaison, and also an appointee for the student achievement liaison. I believe those are the 9, and I can come back and do the standing authorizations.
Okay, at this time, we'll go through each of these. First off, can I have a motion to accept compensation for board members at $125 for the 12 meetings and the county meeting on top of that?
So moved.
Amy moves. Do I have a second?
I second.
Terry seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is service fund for board members of the $5,000 per year. Can I have a motion for the service fund?
I motion.
Terry motions. Do I have a second?
Second.
Amy seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Membership in OSBA. Can I have a motion to be a member of the OSBA?
So moved.
Taylor moves. Do I have a second?
I second.
Terry seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Liability, property, and fleet insurance. Can I have a motion to accept that?
So moved.
Taylor moves.
Second.
Amy seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Treasurer Pro Temp. Can I have a motion if Mr. Phillips is absent that we will name one of the persons Treasurer Pro Temp?
I move.
Terry moves. Can I have a second?
Second.
Taylor seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Regular meeting date, time and place, the third Monday of each month here at the South Range Complex, unless otherwise changed, which sometimes that does happen, but we will set this as our regular meeting time. Can I have a motion for that?
So moved.
Amy moves. Can I have a second?
A second.
Terry seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Administrative mileage. Can I have a motion for that?
So moved.
Taylor moves. Can I have a second?
Second.
Amy seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Compliance officer. Can I have a motion for that? Terry motions. Can I have a second?
Second.
Taylor seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to, I imagine Mr. Dunham will be reaching out to board members, but the OSBA legislative liaison appointee, can I have a motion for that?
Maybe we should name
If
them.
you'd like to appoint one, that would be
You would like to
fantastic
do
for
that
two, if
right
anyone
now?
would be interested in that.
Okay, I mean,
I know
we had, last year we had
Taylor and
Terry
Terry.
and Taylor. I mean, are you guys, it doesn't involve tons of work in that? Okay, all right, we'll keep that the same.
We had Taylor as the legislative liaison. Or you had student achievement and Terry as legislative, okay.
Okay, all right, can we have a motion for those two folks?
So moved.
Amy moves, Taylor seconds, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Now we move on to the standing authorizations.
Okay, again, beg your patience here. We have 16 standing authorizations I'd like to read through, and then it'll be just a consent agenda after that. Starting with A, the treasurer CFO is authorized to secure advances from the county auditor when funds are available and payable to the school district. B, the treasurer CFO is authorized to invest interim funds whenever funds are available. C, the superintendent and or the treasurer CFO be authorized to purchase the services of architects, attorneys, engineers, or other professional consultants from OSBA, Neola, the Buckeye Association of School Administrators, Baylog, Snyder, Hendricks, and Manchester Architects, Ennis Britton, LPA, Squire, Patton, and Boggs, LLP, Smith, Peters, and Clayle, and Harrington, Smith, Peters, and Clayle, Harrington, Hoppy, and Mitchell, LTD, Jingo and Bear, or other private consultants as may be necessary or useful to advise the board in matters of finance, personnel, contract development, insurance, computers, purchasing, or other legitimate matters affecting the Board of Education's concerns. D, the superintendent be designated the purchasing agent for the school district. E, the superintendent is authorized to employ such temporary personnel as may be needed for emergency situations or other persons on an ad hoc basis. Such employment shall be presented for approval by the board at the next regular meeting. F, the treasurer CFO is authorized to pay all bills within the limits of the appropriations as bills are received and when the merchandise service has been received in good condition and in a timely manner. G, the treasurer CFO is authorized to borrow such funds as may be necessary to meet the expenses of the district within the confines of Ohio law. H, treasurer CFO is empowered to sign payroll checks and board warrants. I, the school district shall continue participation in state and federal programs in which it is now participating. The board will accept and use federal funds distributed by the Ohio Department of Education in keeping with the district's consolidated application, CCIP Title I, in the amount of $109,660.58. Title IIA in the amount of $26,214.21. IDEA $246,707.62. Again, IDEA in the amount of $246,707.62. Title IVA, $10,000. Total and federal guidelines. This approval extends to modifications which may be made according to approved guidelines throughout the year and the funding purpose for management of these programs. The superintendent is authorized to approve school district participation in other government programs, community programs, or privately sponsored programs as may be necessary or useful to the pupils, staff, or other legitimate concerns of the board. J, the superintendent is authorized to approve the attendance of school employees, the treasurer, CFO, and his own attendance at professional meetings. K, the Board of Education authorizes the superintendent or treasurer, CFO to request and use the services of either or both of these management services, the Office of School Management Assistance of the State Department of Education, the Management Advisory Service of the Office of Keith Faber, Auditor of State, and other management services when they feel it is necessary or useful to do so. L, the superintendent is authorized to represent, speak for, and vote on behalf of the board in consortia in which it participates, including Access, OSBC, Northeast 8 Athletic League, the Ohio Coalition for Equity and Adequacy of School Funding, and other consortia or similar organizations or successor organizations to these listed. M, the superintendent is the designee of the board for appeals of suspensions of pupils by a principal. N, administrative dues and fees encumbered other than personal licensure, which are specific to employment at South Range Local School District, shall be paid by the Board of Education. O, the treasurer, CFO, to manage the currently established petty cash accounts in accordance with the South Range Board of Education policy number 6625. And lastly, P, declares as a matter of policy that purchasing coffee, meals, refreshments, and other amenities for officers, guests, and employees furthers a public function as long as they are provided in conjunction with a legitimate public activity, and such provision is not manifestly arbitrary or unreasonable. And the board further declares that providing alcoholic beverages is categorically not for a public purpose and shall not be provided at public expense. Thank you.
All right, does anybody have any questions before we ask for a motion on this? These are our basic standing authorizations that we have each and every year.
Yeah, I
Go ahead.
just in particular don't really trust our attorney from Harrington, Hoppy, and Mitchell, so I'm going to be voting against these standing authorizations.
Okay. At this time, I entertain a motion for move for standing authorizations.
So moved.
Amy moves. Do I have a second?
I second.
Terry seconds. And Mr. Phillips, would you make a roll call vote, please?
Terry Lally,
Yes.
Taylor Christian,
No.
Ralph Wentz,
No?
Amy White.
Excuse me. Yes. No. Yeah. I got it. Yes.
Yes.
All right, and that concludes this first meeting. I entertain a motion at this time for adjournment.
So moved. Or second.
Yeah, Taylor, second, please.
I second.
Terry seconds, and we're adjourned, and we are going to have a short recess. Is
Yes,
that correct?
We do have one announcement, and we just did not anticipate this, so where's Caitlin? This is Pierce, our food service director. We have a cake out there for Board Appreciation Month, so as a buffer between the organizational and the regular meeting of the board, we have cake and beverages in the cafeteria to honor the service of our Board of Education members that have been provided over this past year. Hope you join us in celebrating Board of Education Month in the cafeteria. We'll take about 10 minutes, if that's okay, Board? 10 minutes, come back, and we'll start the organizational meeting. So again, you're welcome to go to the cafeteria for cake and beverage. Thank you.
No problem. I wasn't writing. I was trying to make sure I didn't call Taylor backwards.
We've been pushing a lot of
Sorry, this is one thing they actually have. So we come up with a solution? Is he gonna switch it? We'll just leave it up to her.
If I could have your attention, we would like to start in about 2 minutes, please. 2 minutes.
Taking any medicine?
Okay, if everybody could take their seat at this time, we're going to go ahead and get started with our regular monthly meeting here. Mr. Phillips, could you please call the roll, please?
Taylor Christian? Here. Terry Lally? Here. Amy White?
Here. Ralph
Wentz?
Here. First item on the agenda is to stand up and we'll say the pledge. First up would be the approval of the minutes from our December 16, as well as our December 23rd meeting. Can I have a motion to accept the minutes? Can I have a second? Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and on we go to Mr. Phillips for Treasurer's report.
Okay, as of the end of December, our regular general fund budget was $2,840,222.10. We have a fund balance in the bond issue debt, $905,362.98. All of our federal grants, we did get receipts in December, so those have gone down substantially, but as you could see, everything in the 500s at the bottom. We still have a negative $42,085 in the IDEA, $11,991 in Title I, $2,102 in the Title II, and $10,000, I'm sorry, a negative $1,000 in the 599 Title IV-A grant. Our total amount, all funds, that'd be all student activities, athletics, community service, general fund, and grants, $4,016,675.44. Of the $4,016,675.44, we have invested in Star Ohio, $239,905.69. Home savings and loan, that would be our money market account, $1,536,700.32. And in the farmer's sweep, $1,607,693.34. And as always, the petty cash total, $780. And when you do all that subtraction, it comes out to $631,596.09. And that proofs out as follows. Our regular farmer's account has $850,000 even. We had outstanding general fund checks, $218,203.91. We are still carrying the $200 from last July, which I will probably ask you next month to let me recede in. It didn't wash out the way I was hoping at the end of the year. But that does proof out at $631,596.09. You're also in receipt of a revenue account, an appropriation account, a disbursement, a check pay account. And if there are any questions on this cash summary financial report or any of the other three reports that you were sent, I can entertain those now.
Okay, if not, I'd entertain a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
I motion.
Terry motions. Can I have a second? Second. Taylor seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And on to Mr. Dunham for Board of Education Recognition Month.
Thank you. As I mentioned previously, in between the two meetings, tonight is in January. The entire month is Board of Education Recognition Month. I have a statement and a proclamation I'd like to share with everyone, and certificates I would like to pass out to our board members. Honoring our school board members exemplify local citizen control and decision-making in education. They volunteer hundreds of hours and an immeasurable amount of energy to ensure that our schools are providing the best education possible for the children of our community. For all of their dedication, we are taking this opportunity to show them our appreciation during School Board Recognition Month. The proclamation that I'd like to read is from Governor DeWine and Lieutenant Governor John Husted, honoring School Board Recognition Month, January 2020. The service provided by the members of Ohio City, village, local, and joint vocational boards of education and educational service centers, governing boards, is critical to ensuring high-quality public education for Ohio school children. Through partnership with teachers, school administrators, staff, and parents, school board members provide vital leadership and support for schools, and we thank you for your service and for the positive difference you make throughout our state. On this first day of January 2020, Mike DeWine, Governor, John Husted, Lieutenant Governor. And if I may, just take a moment here, I do have 4 certificates of appreciation. The first one is presented to Mrs. Terry A. Lally in sincere appreciation for exemplary leadership and service to public schools. Mrs. Lally. The same thing for Mr. Christian. Mr. Christian. Mr. Wentz. Thank you. And Mrs. White.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dunham. Next up, we will go to district reports and good news, and we will go back to Mr. Dunham.
Our last meeting was scheduled December 16th. Our last day of school was December 20th. And here we are on December 8th, 3 days into January upon the return of our break. So we really do not have many reports. I know we do. We have one report from Mr. Zolik, and we'll start with Mr. Zolik from the middle school for good news, please.
Thanks, Mr. Dunham. Happy New Year, everybody. I just have one item of good news, only because we held our annual spelling bee yesterday, the second day back. We had the participants were great, as is evidenced by the 21 rounds that the spelling bee went. I sort of lost count after 10. I think it was 21. I know some parents had some participants in the spelling bee, but I just would like to congratulate our top 3 place winners. They were Ethan Viano, 7th grade. He placed 3rd. Elena DuPont, who was last year's champion. She's an 8th grader. She was the runner-up. And certainly congratulations go out to Jessa Flowers. Jessa is a 7th grader here. She was our spelling bee champion. She will represent South Range at the Vindicator Spelling Bee on the campus of Youngstown State University in March. Also a big shout out to the PTO for the donation of cash prizes for our top 3 place winners and the donation of goodies, refreshments, cookies, and whatnot. So we appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zolik. Congratulations to our spelling bee participants and winners. Mrs. Pierce was kind enough to take care of our Board of Education Recognition Month cake. Thank you for your work. Anything you'd like to, any reports? Okay, thank you. Mr. Farron, anything from athletics? Mrs. Lewis? Mrs. Hammond is not with us. Mr. Pagnotta? Nothing to report. Thank you. Okay, and we do have our legislative liaisons and student achievement liaison chosen for the new year. So if there's anything next month, we'd appreciate that.
Okay, the first item on the agenda, and really it's a light agenda tonight when we have 2 board meetings so close together, but by state statute we have to reorganize by the 15th, so we don't have a lot on the agenda. But the first item on the agenda is changing of the February board meeting from the regular meeting date of February 17th to the second Monday in February, February 10th. I'd ask each of the board members if that suits them, and if so, we'll look at changing that. Is everybody good with that from the board standpoint? Okay. That is the only item that we have before we go on to some other things. At this time, I would invite anybody that has any questions about that change or any of the regular agenda items, if they wanted to step up. We will have public participation for non-agenda items after we vote on that. Does anybody have anything that they'd like to question about the meeting change date? Okay, if not, we'll go back. Do I have a motion to change the February meeting from February 17th to February 10th?
So moved.
Amy moves. Do I have a second?
Second.
Terry seconds. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And next up would be non-agenda items. If anybody would like to come up and have anything to say on non-agenda items, I would remind you that we have a microphone up front here. I'd ask that you come and state your name and your address, and that we will hold all participants to 2 minutes. So at this time, I'd open the floor up for non-agenda items.
Yes, yes. Liz DeBacco, 2652 West South Range Road. I watched the video from the last meeting, and I was absolutely appalled by it. I apologize to you, Terry. Getting attacked like that with absolutely no proof of distributing alcohol, that's insane. I personally would like to know what proof there is that you were actually distributing it to the other parents while they were then also driving around the students, and where the parents are that were supposedly drinking that while they were driving around the students of our school district? Is there anybody?
Ma'am, one thing I would tell you is I don't want to call out individual board members. Please
Yes.
direct it to
It was an
me or the
apology.
presiding or the board, please.
Yes. I'm trying to figure out where the communication between the board is, because I sit and I watch individual board members call out the other board members in front of everybody when this is supposed to be a united front. Where is the united front when everybody's calling out everybody else without proof and not showing us how to run the school district for the kids and not the petty differences between you guys? This is for the kids, right?
That is correct.
We need to show the kids that the board can present a united front for them and not fight amongst each other. The board members need to show the support for the kids, not fight amongst each other. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else from the audience that would like to step up to the microphone and speak at this time? And again, I would remind anybody to please address the presiding officer or the board, but we will not have people directing comments and calling out individual board members, please.
Rob, with all due respect, I mean, if someone does disagree with something I said or did, I should be held to account. So, I appreciate what you're doing, but
Well,
if it's directed at me, I don't. But I do appreciate it.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Stacy Blasco, Frederickstown Lane. So I too, after watching the video of the special board meeting that was held concerning Corey Yoakum's decision to resign his board position, and seeing how one of your board members perfectly orchestrated a diversion from that purpose of the meeting by going after you, Mr. Wentz, and then verbally attacking Mrs. Lally, I can no longer sit by idly and say nothing. I respect that you all have your own different opinions on the direction and the decisions that need to be made regarding what is best for our students and our district, but a board cannot possibly function when one of its members publicly accuses, finger points, and makes allegations against another board member because of so-called phone calls that were received. An online petition endorsed by one of you board members is asking for the immediate resignation of Terry Lally based solely on a list of unsubstantiated allegations and not based on a due process ruling as Mr. Yoakum was afforded by ODE. Your display of behavior is unbecoming, immature, and a distraction to this district moving forward. It demonstrates poor judgment and frankly is an embarrassment to this district. It is not Terry Lally that is power hungry and looking for ways to only benefit herself. It's you. You're using our district and our kids to advance your own political agenda and posturing. So at this time, since the relationship of this board has been fractured by one of you, and you know who, I ask that you do the right thing and you resign
Up, ma'am.
from South Range, because what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Is there anybody else that would like to come forth and talk about non-agenda items at this time? And again, I just want to remind everybody, we're not going to sit and attack individual board members, whether we agree or disagree. We're not going to continue and attack individual board members. So, yes, ma'am.
Well, thankfully, I don't attack anybody, so that's good. Ann Myers, West South Range Road. I just want to say that I'm very disappointed in, just as she could not, I missed your name, I don't know where you went. I could not have said it better myself. You are amazing, and I ditto what you say, what she said. But more important, what I was going to say was, I watched the board meeting live from my family Christmas party, and I was on the stairs, and I was quite disappointed because my sister-in-law was there from another school district, both my sister-in-laws from Columbus and Akron, and they could hear what was happening, and for me to try to explain that to them was embarrassing, because South Range is a school that we are proud to be part of. We are honored to be part of. Yes, we have our hiccups. Yes, we have our differences, but there's a right way and a wrong way to do that. And I solely hope that the board takes action for the future for anybody that has any kind of allegations about them, instead of to publicly attack them, but instead to do the due process and have those conversations and then bring them to us. Because instead of what the spelling bee and all the excitement from what that should have been, we are now focused on drama, and that's disappointing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do you have anybody else that would like to address the board at this point in time?
Rob White, West Pine Lake Road. I would just like to thank the board for everything you've done in representing the school and showing positive support for the school. But I'd really like to thank the audience. This is probably the best turnout we've had, and it is kind of sad to say because it's on the negative, but the support that we have by the community is what we need. If you don't like something you see, we don't need to chit chat. We need to be here, come up, say something at the microphone, give them your 2 cents. So thank you all.
Thank you. Anybody else for public participation at this time? Okay, seeing there is none, Mr. Dunham, December, January, and February district update, please.
Thank you. Believe it or not, I too have very little to say because of our last board meeting, other than obviously, let's all make 2020 a great year to be a South Range Raider. We all have it in us. We have great people up on the stage. We have great people in the seats in the auditorium. Working together is the only thing that we can do that is going to benefit kids, and they desperately need our support. So let's not lose track. You're all here for the right reasons, to support kids, and I firmly believe that by doing so, 2020 will be a great year. A couple of little things here. End of our first semester closes. Last day is January 17th. Hard to believe. Saturday Coffee Club is this Saturday at 10 o'clock a.m., January 11th. We have our high school homecoming game and dance January 31st and February 1st. And even though it doesn't feel like it, does feel like it temperature-wise, but snow has been non-existent, which I'm the guy that's very happy that it doesn't snow. It's going to eventually. Just exercise caution on roads, our parking lots here, our sidewalks. We have thousands of people coming in and out for events, and we have a great maintenance staff, but you never know those thick spots, so just, again, use exercise caution when you're coming in and out. But I thank you for all you've done in 2019, and I'm sure we'll have the same measure of support and great people working hard in 2020. Thank you. Thank you to our board as well.
Thank you, Mr. Dunham. I'd like to just again thank all of you for coming out. It's great to see so many people here. There are a lot of good things that go on day in and day out in our school district. I would invite any of you to take an hour, 2 hours of your day to go through any of the building levels. There are just so many good things and so many good students that we have here in our district. And that's a tribute to our community, to our parents, to our grandparents, to our administrators, and everybody that has contact with our kids. I just can't thank our community enough for all the support that you give to our children and to our district. And I think we're all looking forward to a wonderful 2020 school year and calendar year. At this time, Mr. Dunham, we would generally ask to go to executive session, but Mr. Dunham talked to each of us beforehand and said that he didn't have anything reason to go to executive session on personnel. I would ask the board if any of you want to go to executive session, and if so, I'll read the reasons why, but if not, I would ask Mr. Dunham at this time to go through personnel. Anybody? Okay, if not, Mr. Dunham, personnel, please.
Okay. Number of things to approve here. Approval for the 1920 school year, the following people as substitute teachers on an as-needed basis: Jacqueline Walters, Jessica Foley, Nicholas Morio, and Michael Burns. Approve as itinerant or substitute bus drivers, cafeteria aides, custodial aides, teacher aides, nurse, office aides, playground aides. Have one, Carrie Taylor. Approve the following supplemental contracts. This is for 2020-2021 school year. Jim Hannick, high school golf. Dan Yegley, football varsity coach. Dan Yegley, weightlifting coach. And Diane Krumpak, varsity cross-country coach. Approve the following supplemental contracts for the 1920 school year. Haley Davidson, girls varsity track coach. Joe Brooks, boys assistant track coach. Mark Bush, boys varsity track coach. Diane Krumpak, middle school assistant track coach. Accept the resignation of Karen Rast. As you know, Mrs. Rast has been a long time middle school teacher, effective January 10th, 2020. Mrs. Rast is relocating, and we wish her the very best. Her effective date will be January 10th. Approve Jacqueline Walters for a long-term substitute for Karen Rast for the 1920 school year, effective January 8th. And that's all I have for personnel this evening. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, I entertain a motion for personnel.
So moved.
Amy motions, Taylor seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and next I'd ask for adjournment.
Sorry, before we adjourn, so as far as the.
I've asked for a motion for adjournment. Can I have that, please? Terry motions. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second. And all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you.
I think that's something that